Welcome back. This is Hope Adon right here at Hope TV, where you look and you live. My name is George Gishuru, and yes, that is the encouragement we are getting this morning. If you find refuge in the Lord, He is able to work it out for you in everything that He does. He is able to work it out for you. So He is able to turn around that situation, and yes, He will be able to give you victory, to give you success, and yes, He will be able to establish you as well. And for this one who is trusting in the Lord for healing, we have called Him Jehovah Rapha over your life, and yes, He is doing it right here, right now as well. He is able to set you free from that sickness, from that disease. Doesn't matter what the doctors have said. There is one who is able to heal, and when He heals completely. That is the beautiful, beautiful song as well, and it is taking us to some minutes to the top of the hour. That is actually 23 minutes to the top of the hour, 8 a.m. Why don't we get to see what is being reported in the dailies this morning? We begin with the Daily Nation, and they go with the headline, Auctioneers Target Kuria. And there is a photo there of Moses Kuria, and they are saying, going broke, save for a court order or payment of an undisclosed debt. The auctioneer's hammer will land on 2 residential buildings owned by former Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria. Anyone wishing to wrestle the 2 properties off the hands of the vocal politician, who is one of the president's economic advisors, will have to pay a refundable 3 million shillings bidding deposit to the auctioneer and then square it out with the other potential buyers on the 8th of April. It's a story that is covered on page 8, and they are saying a politician has denied ownership of a UAE registered firm, making big moves in the public and private sectors. You can read that story on the Daily Nation page 4. I also see here interviews to pick new IEBC officials begin amid questions over suitability of some candidates. And so the process officially kicks off this morning. And so some of the nominees will be appearing for vetting before the vetting panel as well. That's a story that you can see and read on page 8. And then I see huge cost of 7 extra PSAs revealed. So it will now cost the taxpayer 66.6 million shillings a year in monthly salaries for an additional 7 principal secretaries following President Ruto's recent reorganization of his government. In the changes, state departments will increase to 57 from 50 to accommodate political interests following the handshake between President Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga. However, this is bad news for the overburdened taxpayer, as it will increase the country's already bloated wage bill. That's a story that is covered on page number 6, and we continue to complain, and that's why we keep saying also, and we are told that the issue in Kenya has never been about revenue. It has always been about expenditure. So we keep complaining that the wage bill is huge. We keep complaining that you know, the huge amount of money is being paid towards what is it called, servicing our debts. But then again, we continue to increase and increase the number of workers in the government who, if you ask, are not even relevant. It's just about politics and political interests. But you can read more inside the Daily Nation. Then I see woman loses bid for 10-fold rise in child support from rich ex-lover. So a Nairobi woman has lost a bid to get 148,000 shillings monthly from her rich ex-lover as maintenance for her and their 3 children. The woman wanted the High Court to review the man's monthly maintenance fee from the current 15,000 as ordered by the Children's Court and increase it almost a 10-fold so that the minors can have balanced diet and improved shelter. Describing him as a man of means, she also wanted the court to order him to provide the children with comprehensive medical cover. Very interesting story that you can read on page 3. Then I see this is any other story. Yes, Pope Francis, remember he's been in hospital, and the pontiff, who is 88 years, had been admitted for 5 weeks following following a bout of pneumonia, but he is now set to leave hospital. It's covered on page 17. And then junior sport today, it's all about Taekwondo brothers. Who are they? You can read it on the pullout, the junior sport. And then the sports section, of course, yesterday it was the Nyayo National Stadium. All roads were heading to the Nyayo National Stadium. This was a World Cup qualifier between the Harambee Stars and Gabon. And Harambee Stars go down fighting in match against Gabon. And there a picture there of Michael Lunga and Gabon's Ukiela Manga vying for the ball during their Group F World Cup qualifier at the revamped Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. Kenya put up a brave show but lost 2-1 to the West Africans in yesterday's encounter. Good showing, but it wasn't to be. Then I see Kenya's indoor struggles continue as athletes fall short in China. That's a story that is also on the sports page inside the Daily Nation. Let's look at what is covered in the Standard this morning. And so in your copy of the Standard this morning, they go with the headline, "Don't Trust Raila." That is, and there is a photo there of Raila and President Ruto, and they are saying after a court ruled that Azimio was the majority party in parliament, ODM began pushing for the leader of majority seat, but a warning from the National Intelligence Service stated that granting this position could empower the opposition party to pursue the president's impeachment. As a result, President William Ruto strategically backed down and opted to offer other key committee positions instead. It's a story that you can get on page 4. It is inside the Standard. And then, of course, the story that we have highlighted, which is a big story, and I believe just not today, but in the coming weeks as well. IBC chair interviews kick off today, and of course we have some of the candidates. I see here they have a picture of Anne Amadi, who is one of the candidates vying for the position. Others are Joy Mdivo, Nyachae Charles, amongst others. That is a story that we will be following keenly. It's a story that is covered on page 2. And then Pope returns to Vatican from hospital. That is the world news section. It's on page 23. And of course, the World Rally Championship, all eyes were in Kenya over the last few days, from Friday actually. And it culminated yesterday in Naivasha, and Welshman Evans wins Safari Rally. It's a story that is covered on pages 30 and 31. That is the Standard. And the pullout inside the Standard, the health and science pullout, how doctors are keeping FGM alive. Wow. So the illegal practice is now being carried out by medical personnel in hospitals at an alarming rate, eroding the gains made in the past 2 decades. It's on page 4-5 inside the health and science pullout. Then Emmy Angeyo, I fought and won battle against the breast cancer. It's also in the pullout. And AI doctor balancing tech and human touch in healthcare. That is the health and science pullout, which is inside the Standard, and you can get to read it as well. Then looking at the Business Daily, Nigeria firm seeks State House backing in battle for CBK deal. Oh, so local banks oppose plan to build new payments system. Nigerian company in joint venture with eCitizen firm. And so State House has been dragged into a fierce battle between local banks and a Nigerian firm for the development of a new real-time payment system, Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, in a joint venture with 2 other local companies, wants President William Ruto to back them in their bid to build a new payment platform for the Central Bank of Kenya. Kuna nini pale? It's a story that is on the front page and also on page 2 inside the Business Daily. And then Tycoon Rise Farm spared 1.3 billion shillings pay to rival Butali Sugar. That's also on the front page. And then Kenya exports to Africa drop for first time in 6 years. So Kenya's annual earnings from goods sold to key African countries have fallen for the first time in 6 years, shining the spotlight on competitiveness of the manufacturing sector. And then betting gives KRA 12.47 billion in 8 months. Remember, on Men on Record on Friday last week, and if you have missed that episode, it's on our YouTube channel and our social media platforms, Facebook as well. We were looking at betting and whether it is a pandemic in Kenya, and we were highlighting, and actually one thing that we highlighted was that the government, in as much as they try to balance that morality issue, they earn big from these betting companies. And now here, the Business Daily, they are saying the Kenya Revenue Authority collected 12.47 billion shillings in taxes from betting firms in the 8 months to February 2025, making the segment the top performer. That tells you what you need to know in as far as betting in our country, because it's wreaking havoc, and now you see the amount of money that they are paying in taxes. All right. Then returns on bank deposits down to 15-month low. Banks cut interest on deposits to an average 15-month low of 9.76% in February this year, continuing a reversal from the past 2 years when the lenders were increasing the returns to attract savers. And CBK seeks 70 billion shillings from reopened bonds. And that is a story that you can get in the Business Daily. Then Taifa Leo wanasema yapi? Taifa Leo wanasema alala kazini. Ni nani ambaye amelala kazini? Ni jamaa hapa ambaye tunamjua kwa sababu anapenda vitu ambavyo ni fine things of life. Tunazungumzia waziri wa usalama wa ndani Kipchumba Murkomen. Wanasema jana Al-Shabaab walitajwa kuhusika katika shambulizi lililowaua maafisa 6 na kujeruhi 10 eneo la Garissa. Mauaji hayo yanafikisha vifo vinavyotokana na ugaidi na ujahili kuwa 24 katika miezi miwili pekee. Je, waziri Kipchumba Murkomen analemewa na kazi? Ukurasa wa pili gazeti hilo. Then kilio Owino Uhuru wapate fidia. Ngirichi sasa amgeuka Rais Ruto, adai rais amekataa kukamilisha miradi ya Uhuru kaunti yake ya Kirinyaga. Pia namuona Papa arejea Vatican na ndoto ya Harambee ya zimwa. Kenya yapoteza mechi ya kufuzu kwa kombe la dunia dhidi ya Gabon. Na magharibi wataka nafasi ya Kindiki, wataka Oparanya ateuliwe mwaniaji mwenza wa Ruto kura ya mwaka wa 27. Ni gazeti la Taifa Leo, and you can grab your favorite copy, get to see what's being reported. As believers also, it gives us how we can pray for our nation, our counties, and our different sectors, right? Right about now, why don't we pave way now for the video of the day? See you in a short while.